Hello, everyone. Welcome. It is Friday. That means Chat Gauntlet Day. Today is a Dominaria Chat Gauntlet Day, which I'm very excited about. Dominaria is in my top 5 for sure, as it is for many. It's a great set to draft. What makes it great? My favorite things about it are there's lots of things to do late. You always seem to have a use for your mana. You can be trying to work out what you're going to do with your 12 mana on turn 14 and realize you really wish you had a 13th, and then you could do something really sweet, haymakers all the time, lots of ways to recur value. So that's one reason you're busy a lot at the end of the game. One of Magic's design problems that R&D constantly has to keep in mind and design to overcome is that the natural state of a Magic game with vanilla cards, like if you're just playing vanilla creatures and one-for-one type spells, is that you're going to dump your hand and then you get into top deck, right? Draw, look, go, draw, look, go. And the game can really stall out, not only in terms of the board state, but in terms of interesting things happening. Like you need fuel, resource fuel, card fuel for interesting things to happen. And Dominaria does it. Like Dominaria provides all of that and moved a lot of rare level power down to uncommon. And I think that's what gives it almost a cube-like feel. And I think one of the reasons everybody, it's a great format, but one of the things that really pushes it up for people, I think, is that we all leave generally thinking like we have powerful decks, because by having a bunch of power at uncommon, more people get to draft something they feel like. If you have a lot of rare power at uncommon, a lot of people are going to leave the draft with individual cards they feel are hyper powerful, because you put them at uncommon. But normally we feel like we leave a draft with, if we're lucky, 1 to 3 super powerful rare cards, right? And Dominaria, you feel like you leave the draft with 5 to 8 rare level power cards. And it's also recursive that those are landing multiple times per game. I mean, I cast Phyrexian Scriptures like 3 times in one game yesterday using the shenanigans of the set. There's so much graveyard recursion that not only do you have powerful cards, you can get them back. And I think it just leads to this cube-like feel in the format that is part of the reason that it makes it so appealing to everybody, is that you just are landing haymakers left and right, cube style. And if you want to land a haymaker with your next Magic purchase, I really recommend checking out cardkingdom.com, because they are landing haymakers left and right in the retail Magic industry. They provide incredible customer service. They provide amazing inventory and the best buy lists in the industry. So if you're ever looking to convert your cards to cash, Card Kingdom is the place to start. It's generally the place I start. I don't always finish there. I'm not a 100% Card Kingdom shopper. You can't be really in Magic. Not everybody has everything at all times. And sometimes prices are wildly different from one place to another, and you got to do what you got to do. But I always start with Card Kingdom because I have been incredibly happy with the service, price, and quality of product that I've received from them over the years. And I'm really thankful for their support on this stream. If you want to help me out, if you're thinking of making a purchase, use my affiliate link in the panels below and in the show notes, in the episode notes, whatever notes, YouTube notes, and then you help me stay on the air. That'd be great. So we are going to do a chat gauntlet draft now. I have 7 of my viewers queued up. We're going to hop right over, and we're going to do offline all human draft and then play in pod, and I'm going to play best of 1 against all 7 of my opponents, and we're going to see how many wins we all can get. How many will chat get? How many will I get? I think I'm on a 3-week win streak where I've gotten to 4 wins first. And of course, those who stick around here a lot know, if chat can 0-7 me, I give up control over my next haircut. So lots on the line for me. And I'm sure hoping to at least pick up a win today. And if so, I'll relax a little bit. I'm relaxed though already. And I'm going to hop over now. We're going to show you what's going on here. So here we are on Heroku app, mtgadraft.herokuapp.com. So awesome. Such a great site. It allows you to draft offline, export to Magic the Gathering Arena, and then battle against friends for basically no cost, only the cost of wild cards and or your collection building there. As long as you have the cards, it's free. And we are ready to go. So let's go, let's do a ready check here. Hat, I'm in. Yeah, here we go. Got the ready check. Dominaria. So aggro, not great here. I'm going to talk through best I can how I'm thinking about these picks. I know Dominaria is up on Arena this week, and a lot of people are trying to figure this format out. I'm sure there's a lot of Magic players who maybe weren't playing when Dominaria was out and have joined the game since. Maybe they found Arena and then now are trying to understand this format that's so revered and everybody loves it. But if you've not experienced it before, you might not know what to prioritize. So I'm going to talk you through that as we draft here. Here we go. Wow, fantastic first pick to wrestle with here. Man, this is one of my favorite first picks in the format, even though it is multicolored and uncommon. Tatyova Benthic Druid. 5 mana, 3/3, that whenever a land enters the battlefield under your control, you gain 1 life and draw a card. If you untap and have Tatyova on the battlefield for any number of turns, it is really difficult to lose. You bury them in card advantage. Meanwhile, over here we have Zahid, Djinn of the Lamp, 5/6 flyer that can be powered out for cheap if you have enough of the artifacts to make that happen. And but you're happy with a 6 mana 5/6 flyer. Like one of the things I really want in this format is a big finisher or 2, or a big finisher or a way to get it back. If you've got graveyard recursion, that can be good too. I'm torn here. This is one of the tougher picks I've faced, and right next to it we have Settle the Score, exile target creature. Like that's good, but it's actually worse than the common removal in this set. I think I'm on Tatyova. Despite the gold, I think I've won more games on the back of Tatyova than I have on Zahid. Zahid can be killed and is just knocked out of the sky, and that's it. Tatyova, if you wait until you have the land to play, you can play Tatyova and play the land, draw the card, and then if they blow away Tatyova, at least you got that replacement effect, and that's just the little edge that's pushing me over here. But I also want to mention Vicious Offering is a great black removal spell. Black is very deep in removal in the format, which is one of the reasons I like it. But anyway, I'm going to take Tatyova and surprise. Who am I passing to? We're going to surprise Tron with Zahid, and we're going to remember that Tron is probably playing blue. Yeah, Baneslayer versus Muldrifter is an interesting way to put it, although Baneslayer is a lot better than Zahid. The Baneslayer, the first strike, and the lifelink are quite real. Wow, and from a great pack to like, what is going on here, pack? This is a bad pack. Wow. Nuts pack and a bad pack. Deathbloom Thallid is excellent in this format. Sapling tokens are a thing. Sacrificing stuff is a thing. Whisper is workable in the format. Again, this is part of that recursion thing. Like I was saying, it's like you need multiple Zahids, or at least you need a way to get Zahid back, and Whisper does that. But I don't want to take Whisper this early. If I'm going to take a black card, I'm actually going to take the Deathbloom Thallid over the Whisperer, or over Whisper. And there's nothing else here appealing to me, like, at all. This is a lot of unplayables. This might be one of the worst pack 2s of the format I've ever seen, really. It's bad. There's nothing I want to play in here. I'll play Journey Mage in Wizards, and Deathbloom Thallid is solid in black. That's it, though. Tron says, interesting pass. I'll say... Oath of Teferi is not Teferi. We're going to leave that alone. That's not a good card at all. What else have we... another crappy pack. Wow. It's starting to feel like yesterday. After that amazing first pack, now we've got back-to-back. Very little here. What am I going to hedge towards? Like, what is... like, ugh. Fury? It sure did, Scotty. Like, hopefully Pack 3 saves us today, too. Or Pack 2, or even Yeah, I think Blessing or Impulse are the only two things that I would even be like willing to play because they kind of cycle and do something. But both of these are the kinds of things I hope to get literally like 12th or 13th, and then they squeeze into the deck sometimes. Both of these technically playable if you just are desperate for twos, but you just don't need the 2-drop interaction in this format like you do in a format like M21, for example. But I'm going to take the Impulse over the Blessing, although I'll take the Blessing. It's not great, but if Tatyova is killed and we happen to shuffle her back into our library with Blessing because we're forced to play this, it's not the worst. But can I have some any kind of decent pick here? Like Chronicler is a decent pick. We talk about recurring value in this format, and so Chronicler jumps out at me. I don't love red or white. I really want to be in Sultai colors if I can, but Chronicler, if you're going to be in red, is a great card for the grindiness of the format. You can use the Chronicler, get something back. Chronicler dies, you get the Chronicler back, and then you get something else back. Right? This is just This is a emblematic of the recursion-intensive nature of this format. Wild Onslaught is maybe a defensible pick if we think we're going to get into saps, but you really want to be the Saproling deck here. But green-black Splash Tatyova is an excellent place to be if that comes together. I don't love any of these cards. I think this is a bad situation. I think I actually will take Whisper here, though. Yeah, Funky says Whisper is okay. And I'm going to say, like, both Whisper and Wild Onslaught to me are Saproling cards. Whisper is a green-black card, and Wild Onslaught is a green-black card, because you really want to be doing these with a lot of sap tokens, and those are on green cards and black cards. So if I'm going to take a Saproling-based card here, I'll take the Whisper over the Onslaught for right now. It can be decent. I'm just saying, I don't want to say... be too harsh, like you can't play Whisper if you're not making Saprolings. It's just at its best there, is what I should really say. That when I take Whisper, I'm hoping to be playing Saprolings. You can't always do that, though. Fungal Plots has always disappointed me, even in the Sapling, even in the Sap decks. You need to be making saps. Like, you don't take this when you're trying to make saps through the exile clause. You kind of need natural saps that you're just sacrificing to gain 2 life and draw a card. We could take Reproach here. This is an interesting pick. Somebody's got to be white, and we're starting to see the white aggro. This is not necessarily aggro, but the white cards that are solid and generally first pickable in sets where white is good are now showing themselves here to be kind of the abstract best cards in the pack. But we're trying to hedge away from white. We don't have any white yet, but somebody ends up there, and if you can be the only one doing it, it can be fine. I think we did a Dominaria chat gauntlet before, and I ended up white-blue tempo aggro, basically, and did just fine. That being said, Fungal Plot's not great, but these two both lend themselves towards a Saproling strategy, so I'm going to take the Fungal Plots over the 2 white cards here, but I got my eye on it, and if something Gideon's Reproach-like is in the next pack, we're probably going to have to take it and consider being the player willing to go into the blue deck or the white deck. Nothing here really, though, for that. Short Sword, if you're in the Sap deck, can be okay, but if I'm going to play equipment in the Sap deck, I want it to be the +2/+0 and first strike. Turning 1/1 Saprolings into 3/1 first strikes on your turn is a reasonable thing to do to them to make them more meaningful. Adamant Will is okay, but not amazing. Like, again, if this were Gideon's Reproach, I would absolutely take it here. I don't think we have to take Adamant Will, though. We can even take this not great, but sometimes sneak it in. Removal Spell. I have never been impressed with this card. I try not to play it. I really do. A 2/3 for 3. You can. It's not like, I mean, I say that, and I've played a 2/3 for 3 in this format with no text, but that's when it's the blue wizard, like the scholarly wizard blue dude or whatever, where wizard matters. This is just not. I would rather take a hard to leverage piece of removal than a very whatever creature. Tolarian Scholar is what I was talking about. Yes. Omnivore still being here is a great sign, though. That's another card that can be good in any deck. I mean, we played it yesterday in with no saps in sight, but when you have saps, this becomes suddenly a must block. There are times when your opponent is at 12, and you attack with this, and they realize that they can't take it. If they take it, they die. That's pretty powerful. Keldon Raider is whatever to me too, and especially in red. If Keldon Raider were in black, I know mechanically black doesn't rummage, but if it were in black, I would like it a lot more, for example. I was going to say the Whisper came back, but this is a pack 1, pick 8. That means we may wheel another Whisper, and you don't want too many of these legends. I'm actually going to take a Mammoth Spider. And I don't think we'll get that. There's a Whisper like 2 packs away. I think pick 10 has a possible Whisper. I'm not expecting to get it, but I would really rather have Mammoth Spider number 1 over Whisper number 2 anyway. What does white do in this format, says Scotty? What it's trying to do is be aggro, but aggro is bad. What it can do is be a support color, a splash color in the Sultai. Some Sultai pair splash white is primarily how I use white in this format. I already took what, John? Took what, John? Took what, John? Pegasus Courser is one of those signals. Yeah, we have one, but you know, having multiples of a card that you're going to try and engine is not the bat. Yeah, there's another one. There's a third one. The next pack. I'm pretty sure pack 1, pick 2 had a Whisper we passed. So yeah, we're taking Courser, and because I don't like Llanowar Scout, I think this is one of the more incorrectly played cards in the format. If you're playing this, just make sure you're doing it because what you want is a 1/3 for 2. If what you need in the deck to get to your late game is a 1/3 for 2, fine. But I try not to play this. There are better 1/3s for 2 in the format. Unwind is my most playable card out of these. We don't seem to be very blue except for Tatyova. White's always open in the format, D. The question is it so darn open that you should be there? Or not? It's always open. So then the question is the white that's in these packs good enough for me to be the one to chase it, you know? To actually draft it. But now we're getting to the garbage end of these packs anyway, so yeah, I'm certainly not expecting that third Whisper to show. Also, I do want to splash the Tatyova, and base green helps with that, because there's some splashing in green that we could do. And I'll take the Scout here, and if we do need a 1/3 at 2, I will play it, but I'm hoping not to. But since we passed Tron, the big beefy flyer in blue, I'm really not expecting good blue to flow. So really Tatyova, if she makes our deck, is going to be a splash. Yeah, Deathrite, Skittering Surveyor, the 3-mana artifact, is one of the pieces of glue in this format because it allows non-green colors to successfully splash. We have an Elfame Druid. 2-headed Giant is certainly playable if you're in red. And certainly, it's a good creature. 4/4 for 4 with upside. Blessed Light was my first pick from yesterday. Despite my feelings about white, as I said, my primary use is to splash good white interaction cards in a Sultai-based deck. And sure enough, we were exactly that. We splashed Blessed Light, our first pick. We didn't end up in white. Here, Gorger is a weird card in the format because it's almost too mid-range. This format has a bit of a mid-range problem that often this random ground beef in the middle of a game with no evasion in a world where Sapperling tokens are being spit out left and right. This can be very underwhelming. And I would rather go for the thing that pushes us up to do super big stuff. And I'm going to take the Elfame Druid here. Urgoros, the empty one, is one of those big finisher types that I'm talking about that I want multiples of in a draft. And we're going to almost certainly grab it. We'll slide down to see. We got Llanowar Elves. I would play Elves if I was ramping, but Elves is... You generally are not in a huge hurry in the format, so the Elf ramping you forward, certainly it can help you take over a game faster and help you get that edge early, but it is a pretty miserable top deck, so I actually don't prioritize Llanowar Elves too highly, even in green decks in this format. If it wheels, I'll take it and play it, but this is a pretty plain Urgoros number 1 here for me, and even Memorial is my number 2 pick here. Llanowar Elves would be 3rd. I don't know who'd be down on like if you're down on Urgoros. I don't know. This has been great for me. It can be a little small as a 4/3 flyer for 6. It can sometimes feel small, but you connect once and you feel like you've won the game. Watch out for these legendary sorceries. They're very sexy looking. X red. Deal X damage up to 3 targets. Wow! But it's a legendary sorcery. You can only cast it if you control a legendary creature or planeswalker. Not many planeswalkers likely. So basically you need a legendary creature like Yargle here or whatever. But it's just not... It's too hard. It tends to be a trap. Although we played a legendary sorcery yesterday... and it was a close call for me. We had only 4 legends, but we had like 2 or 3 ways to get those legends back from the graveyard. So I felt it was okay. I'm going to go Memorial to Unity. As I was saying, it was my second choice in the last pack anyway. And these spell lands are generally pretty good. The red one is bad. The red one is the worst. The white one is the second worst. But the black, blue, and green ones are all quite good. Part of the reason the Sultai colors are good is that they have these excellent lands. So you're getting really good value out of your a land pick. It's great. Thorn Elemental, another closer. Talking about finishers, etc. Thorn Elemental is a serviceable finisher because it has that clause of can assign its combat damage as though it weren't blocked. Sometimes you face down this and realize you're dead. Like, oh, there is nothing I can do. I lose. So we could take that. There's also another Deathbloom Thallid, though. And I actually am more concerned about getting our 3s locked down. This tends to be the more important slot for getting you to this stuff at the end. And I don't want to play a Feral Abomination. I sure hope we cut this by the end of the draft. But would I accept a bad 6-drop like Feral Abomination over a pretty darn good one, a 7-drop like Thorn Elemental, if it shores up my 3s? Yes. So I'm gonna. If this were a super bomby, I would take it. I believe that Urgoros is better than this, for example. So if this were like we didn't have an Urgoros and that showed up, I would take that. But Deathbloom in a green-black Thallid deck especially is money. Here's another Omnivore, speaking of green-black Thallid decks. So we're going to take that over Gorger, Mammoth Spider, Primordial Worm. All of these are playable. I'm very happy to have this first Spider, but I don't feel I need a ton more. Although this is a set where if you can get a couple of Mammoth Spiders and hold down the air, one of the keys about Flyers, and probably one of the reasons that if anybody was like... Urgoros stinks. Like, Mammoth Spider is why you might have that opinion, because Urgoros can't attack through a spider at all. And so killing spiders becomes very important if your game plan is in the air. We're going to take an Omnivore. It's just too good in this Saproling archetype. The synergy is fantastic, but I would play a second spider, would play a Gorger, and again, Primordial Worm, kind of like the Feral Abomination in terms of, I'm hoping to do better at my top end than that, but you can do worse. So if you have to do it, you do it. It's partly flavor, Dirt Sleep. So the idea of legendary sorceries is that you need a legend or a planeswalker to cast the spell. And you might have a legendary book, but a legendary book can't cast a spell, right? So it's really a flavor thing that they then built the power around. Because the other thing is, if they allowed it to be any legendary permanent, they would have had to depower them, right? They would have been a lot less sexy, a lot less powerful. So yeah, Grow from the Ashes is what I was talking about, that the fixing that green brings that allows you to play a card like Tatyova. So I'm very happy to see this, and I'm hoping for 1 or 2 more. And because between Grow and Elfhame, we can also start aiming big. So like, I think if I could pick my pack 3, pick 1, it would be the dude with the kicker that makes like 8 dudes if you pay 10 mana. There's a 4 mana creature that if you kick it for 6, just wins the game. Josu, thank you. I want me a Josu, pack 3, pick 1. That would be insano. Here's a spider we can take. Here's a Gaia's Protector. I hyper try not to get into play in my decks. The must be blocked if able is not that great because anything can block it, and anything is people. This was going to get blocked anyway. This is effectively vanilla. It's so funny to me. The Protector is always going to get blocked, right? It must be blocked if able. It's kind of like having a 2020 Trampler indestructible that must attack each turn if able. Vigilant, indestructible 2020 trample. Must attack each turn. Yeah, duh. And so like must be blocked. Yeah, duh. Of course I'm going to block it. Anyway, we're going to take Spider here though. I love the having double Spider. Daring Archaeologist shows what people think of white in the format. I mean, this is a fine card. Like on this hat, you kind of need to do the historic thing for it to be anything more than a hill giant, but Envoy, another place where it's like, I don't like to play this, but I would if I had to. I don't like the Tome. I find this way too clunky. It's playable though. I don't like it, but it's playable. I think I would rather have an Envoy, although also it's uncommon and we might pick up more Envoys. But I generally am not concerned when, if it were true looting, or if it were two draw, that would be good. But it's just too much to loot. Too much to pay to loot. So I really want to be doing the historic thing with that card. Yeah, Snapper is interesting, but I don't think we're core blue. I'm just moving in on the Saps plan here. So here's where I'll take a Krosan Druid or a Tome or even Armament. This is not how I want to deal with flyers. We've got how I want to deal with flyers, a couple spiders. Well, here's where I have to decide what I like less, Krosan Druid or the Tome. I'm going to stick with what I said about this. I really don't like doing this unless I have a pretty solid chunk of historic so that it's 3 mana draw card. And I'm going to take Krosan Druid and hope not to run it. Another Krosan Druid we can try not to run, or a Voltaic Servant. Servant helped us yesterday because we ended up with Traxos, but if we got Traxos, we'd probably pass it. But still, I'll take Spec on Servant over Krosan. What's this? Oh, the famous. Just noting what link was just posted. Yeah, we'll take the Inferno. None of these are playable. Well, actually, I should say, in a pinch, I could see playing a Desperation Stronghold Confessor, but Drudge Sentinel is awful. And if anybody wants to try to run the Jaya's and Immolating Inferno, I think it's actually good for us. I'm going to let them try. Arcane Flight, I'm going to cut because I don't want to lose to a flying hexproof I can't deal with. So if we don't have anything to take, I'm going to kind of cut those strategies. This is a fine place to pick up a Primordial Worm. Paladin is more for marking your page in a book. Soul Salvage, excellent. Siege Gang Commander, sadness that we're gonna pass that and maybe lose to it today. But Paladin's awful. Come on. Maybe, all right, awful might be a touch strong. Paladin is well below replacement. I think that's an accurate statement on Paladin. What do we have, an Eviscerate? Did I miss it? Oh, you just mean pack 3. I was like, where's the Eviscerate? Not going to take Siege Gang, despite this being one of the better cards in the format. We want Memorial or Soul Salvage. Or Fungal Infection. Might even want Fungal Infection. We don't have a lot of defense early, and it does create a sap. If somebody does get aggro on us, we're going to be happy to have an Infection. I really want Soul Salvage #1 or the Folly, but I also really want Fungal Infection #1. And again, the Elves or whatever to me. I'll let somebody else play the Elves and we'll kill it with this Fungal Infection. Let's cut that. I'm not liking the deck so far, but it has some potential. We could get there, but I don't like it yet. Right now, we're leaning too hard on these omnivores and light amounts of saps to win. What are they talking about? Oh yeah, this set is supposed to have a legend in every pack, much like War of the Spark is supposed to have a Planeswalker in every pack. When we draft on mtgadraft.herokuapp.com, that is it's a different setup here. Like, there's some complicated stuff around making that happen. In the physical paper collation, and it's not being mapped, reflected in Heroku app right now. So second grow, hopefully sets us up to do something sweet. I just don't have anything sweet to do yet, and we're a couple picks into pack 3, so I'm thinking we're going to be in poor mage's win condition territory, playing a Primordial Worm, that kind of thing, which is not where I want to be, but you do what you gotta with the packs you're given. The double grow almost makes me wish I had taken that Siege Gang. If you had told me, Ryan, you're going to have 2 grows, I might have given up Tachiova for a Siege Gang, but we have Tachiova we're trying to splash, so gotta. It's possible, Iceman. I should talk to the Heroku or the MTGA draft creator and see if I can help puzzle out the best way to do that. Maybe he's already on it and is going to get. But basically, you just need a replacement effect. If you make a pack, you check it for legends, and if it doesn't have one, you randomly swap an uncommon for a legend. That's how I would do it. Adeliz is one of the big reasons to find yourself in red-blue. Amazing card for this. She is the heart of the best and kind of only aggro deck in the format. I know he's aware. I'm just saying I don't know if he wants some help deciding how to go about it. We are on Spore Swarm, though, for our deck. And we just have to give up all this sweet red-green stuff. We can take that. Rada is just okay too anyway. Spore Swarm's fine for us. Just noting what we are shipping. We could be sending that, if we're in pack 3 now, if Tron is in red-blue, Tron is going to do a lap around his desk when he gets the Cinderwind, but we're going to take Spore Swarm. I'm with you, Cheese. So here's another Druid. But we're kind of ramping to nowhere is the problem. So I'm going to take a Sap Migration. And then with the Spore Swarm and the Saproling Migration, now I'm feeling better about what these Omnivores are actually going to do. I think D earlier was suggesting that he liked that I was a little more commanding on my opinions in this format, you know, that I'm laying it down and telling you how it is. But that's just because I know I've drafted this format a ton, both in bots and in paper. And so I do have a strong sense of the format. The trouble, D, of trying to bring this approach to a new set is that I don't have the confidence. I don't like saying things that I'm not pretty darn certain are true. And I can say true things about my experience with Dominaria in a pretty definitive way, in a way that I can't with newer sets. Another Spore Swarm or a Dark Bargain. Might want Bargain number 1 over Swarm number 2. Windgrace Acolyte also decent in black decks here. But one of the problems with a green-black deck, like Tatyova is our only card advantage, and blue is so important in the format because of all the card advantage it gives. But I really want this Swarm. Hopefully nobody else is doing this. Maybe we get it back or something. Well, we haven't seen one, and we're in pack 3. Horse says we can get these late. Horse, we're pack 3, pick 5. Exactly when are you planning on it? I mean, maybe it's certainly possible that packs 6, 7, and 8 all have Dark Bargains, but there's only 3 more packs after this to even find one. So, declining to take a card that's right in my theme's wheelhouse for something I think the deck needs more. This is hyper garbage, and we're trying to find the best thing that's against us. I guess I'll take Baird, but I don't even care if people take Baird. I hear you, D, but yeah, I'm just telling you why it feels different. It's just because my sensibilities are different here. That's true. Baird is good versus Saps, so as a cut, it's a pretty sensible one, even though it doesn't look like people are super interested in white here. Chainer's Torment is, to me, not a real card. I think you're setting yourself up to just get your token bounced. I'm not interested in that at all. Corrosive Ooze. What do we got going at 2? We've got Druid, Plots, at least to do, Scout if we wanted to play it. Yeah, we've got some 1/3s. Are we toming it? I don't think this is a tome deck. We don't have the density of Historic to make the looting card draw. And I don't want to pay 3 to loot. So I'm going to take a bad 2-drop instead of over a bad Saga. Yeah, this is not the use we're looking for, but it is what it is. Looks like blue ended up pretty open, although just maybe cut nicely. Another Scout, Short Sword. We do have, yeah, I guess Tetsuko I should splash. This is worth a splash in our deck because it'll turn the Saps to unblockable. So I'm going to take, I'll take the Tetsuko to, as almost a falter effect to suddenly win, you know? We're not casting this on 2 very often, but I'm going to run it and use it as a hopefully game-winning play sometimes. More Garbo. I'm going to cut stuff from Tron. Or I'll cut Mesa Unicorn. This is kind of annoying. Good. This going this late shows you what white is in this format. I mean, it's a Grizzly Bear with lifelink. That's all right. That's solid, but not solid enough around here. Still solid enough that I take it out of this pack. Yeah, we are. Guess I'll take Enchant. I don't think anybody's main decking that, but I'll cut Fire Elemental. Fire Elemental seems like the most playable card here. I've played myself a few Fire Elementals. in this format. Rada says no interest. I'm not running a paladin. We have enough playables. Although, yeah, I'll take Rada. We could throw in a mountain even and potentially splash it. It's just not that even that good. It's like whatever. I guess I'll take a paladin and not play that instead of that. I'm not running a Pierce main deck. If we were doing best of 3, I'd absolutely take the Pierce, but this is going to be a best of 1 format for us. So given that, I'll take Pally and try not to play it. I have main decked a Broken Bond in my time. We could do that. Too bad we weren't splashing white. Getting a Chapel this late would be awesome for that. But these are all... Oh, I got to take this. This is good. I don't think people generally play Radiating Lightning, but it is a good sideboard card against saps. And just in case someone gets frisky, I don't want them to main deck anti-sap tech. Yeah, that was a very medium draft. We failed to find a good payoff for what we were doing. Besides a couple of Omnivores and an Urgoros and a Tatyova. Might be enough, but this is a format where I expect more power out of my deck at the end of a draft. Like if this were the end of a draft of M21 or a core set, I would think this was great. I just don't think it's good by Dominaria standards. I'm going to cut the stuff I really don't like, cut the stuff I really try not to play at main and see how bad off we are, and then decide what to add back in. Because we're totally gonna have to add stuff back in here. So I'm cutting the stuff I hate. I hate a lot of this deck, unfortunately. Like I don't. This is all. Oh, that's not bad. Seeing 21, I'm pretty happy. I thought I was gonna have to add a lot more chaff than like 3 cards. We didn't take Inferno. I let somebody else try to do that nonsense. Yeah, Envoy almost got cut to the chaff pile, but I actually knew that A, we were going to have to add stuff back in, and B, this was going to be one of the first ones I added back, so I just kept it in. And now, that's good. We had to add 3 pieces of garbage to our deck. What 3 pieces of garbage do we want to add? That's not what I'm talking about. That's a good card. Probably we need 1 6-drop, and I'm going to go with... it's actually a tough call. Abomination does not look like much, right? But very few things in the format have natural 5 power. So you often, when you're attacking with it, you get a 2-for-1. When they have to double block it, and if they double block, you always get your 2-for-1. But then we also have just bigger size here, and sometimes just being a 7/6 is enough. But it has similar problems. You know, we didn't end up with any Baloths, and those are similar, right? You pay mana to get a big dude, and it's kind of whatever. But we need 1 6, and I'm going to take Worm over the Abomination. And then 2 more cards. Yeah, we can take an Impulse. Oh, this you can kind of do Impulse as land 17 or 17 and a half almost. But we also do have the ramp and stuff too. We could play the Druid. It's not embarrassing. It's just not great. And I think I like that. Plus the Impulse. I think this is where I'm ending up. Yeah, it's very reactionary, though. I hate when this is stuck in my hand. And put the land on the battlefield basically never happens, in my experience, in any relevant way. Like, it's a really weird piece of text to even put on the card. To me, this is a sorcery speed naturalize. Yeah, Green Memorial is a reason to have 17 and a half kind of lands anyway. So, yeah, I like this. We probably need, we're not doing any self-mill, but there is enough mill that it's a little scary to run only 1 island. we go like more like this. 9. Oh, but that's 15. Yeah, something like that. Oh, but that we need to go like this because we have a memorial in. I'm going to try this, see what it looks like over here. Oh, well. Nice tats. Yeah, she's already on there. Check. Get your redemptions in. I'm going to get my sideboard more landed up. Try to remember to do this today. You never know. I'm just doing it to be safe. I don't remember, but I trust you. What's your, you tell me what I owe you, and I'll believe you. All right. I believe you. Pick it. We are pretty actually mana heavy here. We could absolutely cut a land here because we have Elfame Druid and the double grow, and really not much to ramp to. But Tatyova likes land, so with Tatyova, I'm willing to be a little heavy on land. What I'm really sad is that our only recursion is Whisper. We did not end up with a Soul Salvage. Black decks in the format without Soul Salvage are really missing a key component, I think. All right, well, I'm going to leave it like this then. Oh, 8-6, is that... Wait, 8, 9... Yeah, 9, 6, 2. Yeah, that's fine. I like it. Yeah, we only saw one, and it was like pack one, pick one. And I took the fungal infection, which I'm happy to have over it. I missed breakfast this morning. Hold on a second. Not amazing, but keepable. So expecting to see islands from Tron. Passed him a bomb because we took one of our own. Do it this way. Strong opinions on lands from Dionysus. Yeah, I chose him, D. You got problems with it? Use your dang channel points, buddy. I'm going to find the most annoying things to D that I can do for bling and make them my default. You can hold to try and get the 4 here. But against red, I'm going to... Because we think Tron is playing blue, right? So my read is that Tron is going to be on red-blue. That's a pretty aggro color pair, so I'm going to get some defense down right now. Nothing to do on 3 except a possible fungal infection, although we have no good use for that here. Adelaide's incoming. You're welcome, Tron. Ooh, even better. No, not even better, but very good. Surveyor. Oh, maybe I had him off. Here you go. Sorry, I had that one off. I'm telling D to spend his channel points, but I don't have my store open, so fair enough. Fair enough, D. So I've kept sleeves off since I made up for my missed one before. But if you want to redeem deck box or lands, they're now available. We'll make a change after this game. Happy to see that spider. I'm expecting some flyers, obviously. Awesome. I love that the spawn gets to choose, Robert. Nothing to do about that, but lose the sap. Yeah, I did once and then vowed never to do it again, Nan. That may have been while you were away, though. Nantuko was not hanging out as much as he wanted to in the last month, and that may have been a decree I laid down while he was not around. Still sold out. That's weird. I don't know why it would be. Because it was on pause, and I don't know. Sorry. What, oh wait, sorry, we can go, Spore Swarm. Yeah, I'll trade a Spore Swarm, for one swarm for the Arcanist. Then Tron is being sassy. I mean, sorry, Non is being sassy. I'm going to play Omnivore, and we have both Infection and Omnivore activation up. I rejected yours because you asked for something I wouldn't do. You have to rebuy. Should be available again. So now you should be able to do it, D. It sounds like Nantuko slipped in and actually made that bling purchase. But I need to know what you hate, Dionysus. What are your least favorite bling options? No particular reason. I'm just curious. That's awfully suspicious. Suggests maybe the burn spell, two mana damage spell. Basically, Tron's willing to 2-for-1 himself to take out the Omnivore. Maybe give it some time? I know I did. Or maybe it doesn't reset the availability. I don't know. But Yeah, it could be blink. We could try to work the fungal infection into it, but I just don't feel the need. I'm fine with Tron sending in for 3, and we'll send in back. All right, great. It's nice to know that D hates the default. It makes my job a lot easier. I don't have to do much. I'm kidding, D. I want to make you happy, of course, like everybody. So, don't know why the channel points redemption didn't reopen that option. I don't know. I'll look into it later, but not my most pressing concern at the moment. Yeah. Grow is neat, but we'll start with Omnivore attack. Once you have saps out, Omnivore always has a good attack. Interesting, Alpha. Oh, well. All right. Well, if I'll give you a free land upgrade today as I learn the ins and outs of the rejection system that Twitch has given me. And generally with Omnivore, I don't sack for damage until it's looking pretty darn lethal. We're just going to take the 3 here. And I guess we kick grow. Then we have, again, we set up for being able to cast Tachiova when we find her. And we have 2 activations on the Omnivore if Tron tries to use damage-based removal to get rid of the Omnivore. I should have gotten a Swamp to cast the Infection, but I was trying to balance out my mana. There's not really a need to have 3 forests, though, so I suppose this should be a swamp, and this should be an island, and we accept 2 forests and 4 swamps, and then we'd have a little more interaction this turn. And at some point, we can't just take 7 a turn, but I'm going to take it this turn. Yeah, you're right, Billy. I should have talked about the spider line. Basically, it was spider or build up for a bigger turn next turn. I just liked what going shields down and, accepting a big attack for 1 turn, and then setting up with spider and lots to do otherwise next turn. Like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. If we find a land, we can go. We can't. Never mind. So we got spider plus infection plus activations up next turn. But basically, if I had cast spider last turn, Omnivore goes shields down against 5 damage, 4 and 5 damage removal, which red has. So I like having 2 saps and 2 mana up with Omnivore to protect against burn spells. And at some point, we might want to hold lands for Tachiova. Like, I want 1 land in hand in case we draw Tachiova. So I'm going to stop. I'm not going to play this forest since it doesn't impact much. I'm just going to play the spider. I should have attacked first, and I am going to attack anyway. But I also don't think... Well, if Tron blocks, there may be... Well, if playing the land allowed us to play bargain, yes, but we can't bargain and spider this turn, so I think holding the land is correct for possible Tachiova draw. So if there's a double block, it probably means Tron has interaction and is either looking to trade creatures, Surveyor and or Tolarian Scholar for a Shivan Fire, or has maybe Blink and is willing to send my Omnivore back to hand after I feed it a sap. And, this is an interesting spot about what I was talking about, like not having that soul salvage. I am so much more comfortable and easygoing about losing my creatures in battle in this format when I've got a Soul Salvage in the deck and I know I can get them back. But here it's like, okay, Tron's going to do what it takes to get this Omnivore dead, and it could cost us. Now, we might be able to get him back with the fungal infection here. In other words, I'm going to use green to sack 1 sap to make us currently win combat. And now, if it's possible, Tron does something in response here that allows us to... yeah, it was the blink. Okay. As I said, I'm actually okay with that. So it costs us some tempo and 1 sap, but no more than that. And Tron didn't get a card out of the blink, which is important to me. Although we're now at 12 with lighter defense than I'd like, but this spider's going to do some work here. If Tron takes care of the spider on his turn, I'll be a little less comfortable under the collar. But spider lives, we should be okay. I should say, you're welcome. Wait. How do I chat in here? Can I? Oh, I gotta go to the... Where is it? I just... Oop. Yeah, I like that, Haj. Haj is suggesting instead of setting me back on Omnivore, could have taken the damage and bounced the spider and then gotten a bunch through. But certainly landing the Siege Gang Commander seems pretty reasonable. Another thing we're lacking very much in this deck is black removal. Like, really. So that's one of the reasons I don't like my deck. I just expect to have more interaction at the end of a draft than we have here. So... You like infecting a goblin? Yeah, probably need to. These represent shocks, right? And we're not getting much better value out of it. I'm with you on it. We'll do that. And untap. Whisper. If we play Whisper, Whisper will just get killed. Maybe that's okay. Whisper. But I think now we go, let's see, 1, 2, 3. Now I will play the land because it allows us to go Omnivore, hold up, Dark Bargain. So we're going to get 8 mana up so that we can 2-spell this turn. Yeah, I can't remember my deck list now. Did I? See if Tron can figure out what our first pick was, given that we passed a... Can this self-sack? Another. Nope. Could also sack one right now. If I'm kind of almost rules curious, but it would cost. I want to be able to cast the Dark Bargain. Whisper doesn't sack. I mean, sure. There's technically rules text on the card that suggests that Whisper sacks, but when your Oppo has a Siege Gang Commander and multiple goblins, Whisper don't sack. Whisper dies. Whew, well, I I guess Tron's saying he'll accept a Goblin token and a Keldon Raider for our Mammoth Spider. Probably sensibly, but we're at 12. We can't take it forever, and we do plan to bargain. So I'm going to give him the Spider and be happy to at least whittle him down by another Goblin. We could throw 3 saps in front too, but then he has a simple kill 1 and it blows it out. So I'm just going to do it. Yeah, because if we can grind through the saps, then we can play Whisper and do the things, right? Well, take the Grow and the Thallid. Give us Tat! Come on, one time, Tat. Boom! Not Tat, but not meaningless. We're gonna go Fungal Plots. We have 3 saps naturally, but I'm gonna play Death Bloom, and they can go ahead and use that too if they want. He. Again, it's Tron. Say he. We have only 1 creature in the yard, but with Whisper being our only way to get stuff back, maybe we go ahead and exile it for an extra card. I'm not sure who's winning this game. I mean, who like, even who's ahead. Like, our position is okay. It's not great, but the Siege Gang is at medium power right now. We just got to kind of work through the Siege Gang and hope like heck he can't recur it. I mean, the fact that you can so easily recur stuff in the format is one of the reasons Siege Gang is so good in the format. It's like, it's hard to beat one Siege Gang, but when your opponent casts the same Siege Gang 3 times in the same game, well, I don't know why it took that long to win, but you know what I'm saying. I'm certainly going to offer the Thallid for the Journey Mage and throw the Omnivore on the Scholar and see what Tron wants to do here. I said Journey Mage on the Scholar, you know what I meant. Omnivore on the Scholar. So we do have this splashed other legend in blue that makes these saps unblockable, but we also need to... I mean, I guess I can draw first. This doesn't matter. We don't need to draw before we untap or anything. We're not using mana to do that. The question is, but we do want to... I will exile Thallid for more saps. Yeah, Rocket's still letting them know that they should not be tearing that house down, obviously. So now we could play Whisper, and Siege Gang would almost have to sack itself to take out the Whisper, although this is where I'm totally afraid that just Tron has another blink and has just been patiently waiting to re-blink the Siege Gang, in which case I may just try to save my hair against somebody else. Yes, that's what I'm saying, though, but we might want to just lure that out, right? But I think at this point I'm going to draw cards here. At least a card. Tat, come on, show up and let me show chat how good you are. Well, the thing is, I'm trying to save Grow, because if you have Grow when you have Tat Jova, it's like, it's incredible. I think no attacks. Now that we have 2 lands in hand, though, I am willing to grow to thin. Thank you, Chesapeake. I see Chesapeake in it. My slightly dyslexic brain sees Cheapskate. Does anybody else have? Does it happen to anybody else? Anybody see Chesapeake and see Cheapskate? It happens to me all the time. Cheapskates in Chesapeake. Yikes. Wonder what this is about. We're going to find out, because we don't have many choices. Although we could do this. I'm willing to go like this and like this. Actually, I should just do this in this case. All right. What you got, Tron? I think it's Bounce Commander, and I just slump beneath my desk. Make a sap with the enchantment first. Why? Like, what are we trying to do? With an extra... You want to, like, block other stuff or something? I don't know. I mean, I got to do all the blocks I basically wanted, and one more sap I don't think was going to do anything. Yeah, Whisper having something to do would also not stink, and this is fine. I'm going to eat the spider and leave the omnivore there, I think. Yeah, that's what I'm going to do for right now. Not 100% though. We'll drop this. And now we can play Whisper. And I guess we can attack. Get in there, saps. Sap. So how are we looking to win here? We only got 15 cards. I don't even really want Tatiova anymore because we'll just deck ourselves. Although hopefully we can find a means to win before that would happen. I'm fine with making another trade here because we can turn this envoy into another sap and use the saps to whisper, etc. So I'm just going to go for trading for the biggest thing. Oh yeah, I missed that block, sorry. But also, yeah, I guess there's not much at risk there. There's no real 1 damage. I should have blocked. Like there's reason. Like we really don't. My heuristic that led to that missed block is that Whisper is too valuable to risk. Right. So my thought process was Whisper is too valuable to risk. But really, yeah, the only thing that gets us is another copy of a card that I doubt Tron is super happy to be playing in the first place. Although in aggro red-blue, it can have a place. So maybe I'm accidentally good there. Sometimes you're accidentally good. But that heuristic was what drove that for me. Elfhame's not that great here. Nothing to do with this mana, but we can sack. Like, I'd actually rather sack Elfhame and 1 sap for for Whisper than 2 saps. These have power, at least. And this can happen at instant speed, so we don't even need to worry about that now. That Jin still hasn't showed up out of Tron's deck. He's almost halfway through his deck, so only like 50-50 to even see it by now, but just trying to find a way to victory here before that Jin shows up. And any other creatures? No, we only have the 1, and we're going to get it back now. Also note, Whisper can sack to them. I'll say himself when you need to. Hey, Tachova. Welcome. Was that so hard? Showing up? Five mana. I can play the Thallid and have 2 activations. Yeah, 2 activations is enough. Can even make the Thallid be the activation if necessary, so I'm going to play it. And then attack. No, I wanted to attack and have the Thallid available to sack, so that's why I played it pre. Nothing really to get else, right? We have the Druid now. We do. Sorry, that's right. Let's get it. Some concern that if we go shields down, he could pick off Whisper or Thallid, but in either case, we still have a Thallid, so I'm going to do it. Gotta make sure we don't deck ourselves, but 9 is not 0. Well, and I don't hate having some life here, but I'll attack first in this case. And I'm going to attack with saps now. If he wants to block the saps, I'll sack him to the Omnivore. We could even send in Tachova. Like, she's already done her duty. We can get her back too if we need to. So let's get aggro now. You haven't lived till you've kicked a Grow from the Ashes with Tachova in play, though. Oh, so good. Yeah, we just accept this. Kick the heck out of this thing and hope we've got the win. No, I mean, I tend not to make memes for defunct formats. I try to focus on the current thing.
I do my hair toss, check my nails. Baby, how you feeling?
The hair is safe, chat. Next time. How's my mic volume on my leveler that I'm looking at? I'm kind of in the red, but I had been low before, so I want to make sure that I'm at a good volume. Nice. All right. Well, I'll tell it to you here too, but good game, Tron. Good game. Now then, I'll look at my next challenger. That's Robert. All right, Robert, I'm coming for you. Gargantuan. We could be timed. Do you guys want to put me on a clock? I'm down with that. Except they make it best of 3, so we can't really do that. We were best of 1. Never mind. Challenge match, 40, best of 1. Yeah, you still have something to play for. If I only win twice, we get to go shopping. All right, good keep. We're going to sap on 2, Envoy 3, probably Whisper or Bargain on 4. Probably Whisper on 4 if it's safe. Actually, maybe Bargain if it's safe, because Whisper is not really a good creature. It's a good tool to reanimate things. But, if what we want to do is attack with a 4/4 or a 2/2, then I guess we can. But I probably would just rather play a Dark Bargain there. Knight of Malice, that's a fine card. I continue to just be really happy that we managed to win, given how low our removal is. Really, the lack of removal and clear multiple finishers is my issue with this deck. Yeah, lack of removal and lack of soul salvage and, like, 1 more finisher. And that's like 3 things wrong with the deck, which is why I'm not super thrilled with it, although this is one of the finishers I was happy with. Oh, I believe you, man. I know we passed you, and I was like, I bet Tron is... When I passed that Adelaise, I was like, wow, if Tron is red-blue, he's so happy right now, having passed Siege Gang, Adelaise, and the Big Flyer. With this. First strike, can't attack into it. Yeah, Omnivore is a surprising card in the format. I think a lot of people were not aware of how good it was going to be. Mathematics wonders why this is even any good. Because the format is slow, and because there's not a lot of aggro punishing you for paying life for cards, this is excellent for doing what blue normally does, which is, get you up on cards. And it's because of the grinding format and the fact that you don't need to worry so much about your life total early. And the 2 in your hand, 1 in the yard is relevant too, because like Whisper is real. There's so much graveyard recursion that it is often like drawing 3. But as usual, someone in Hat sums it up much better than my longer spiel. Hat saying, the existence of turn 9 makes it better. A very nice TLDR for what I was just saying. And in general, Robert, when you watch this, in this format, do not Hammered Explorer your opponents unless you're literally trying to win that way, which doesn't seem right. This is a format where Graveyard is fuel. Graveyard is cards, and so you really want to self-mill rather than target your opponent. And in this case, while I want to get to 6 mana for the Urgoros, I'm more inclined to take the action and find land number 6 naturally when it shows. Although keeping the swamp guarantees turn 6 Urgoros, and that's not the worst. But I really like the Thallid and the Flyer, so I'm going to take the risk. We may not cast this exactly on time, but it felt right to me. To take the most powerful cards we have. And I'm never punished anyway, right? So we're going to top deck a land and play Urgoros, and Robert's not going to manage anything up in the air or any removal, and Urgoros is going to go the distance. That's plan A. Although Syncopate mana up over there, let's keep that in mind. Given possible Syncopate, we could try to, although it seemed to pass pretty quickly, although it needs something on the stack, we could go Bloom, and save the Urgoros. But with Whisper, well, Syncopate exiles too. That's another rough thing. And this is like one of our few things to do. I'm going to be a little conservative here because this is such an important card to our deck. And Syncopate's so good. And we did pass one. If this were not, you could also make an argument like but we're in pod and I passed Syncopates. So I'm going to bait. We're going to do a little bait here. Note that there was not a pause when stuff wasn't on the stack. Now we'll offer him this. Hope he takes the Syncopate and then drop Urgoros next turn. Might be a misread though. Or it's not even necessarily a read that he has it. I'm not like, I've soul read Robert and he has Syncopate. I'm saying the risk of it isn't worth my most important card right now. Yeah, if Syncopate didn't exile, I would absolutely be with you, AVB, because then we can just whisper it back, right? Now, though, I guess we could even offer the Whisper for the Syncopate. Fungal Infection, though, gives us some attacks, so I'm actually happy about that. I'm going to charge in with everything we've got, except I'm even going to send in the Saps. No, I won't send in the Saps, but I'll send in everything else because we now have Fungal Infection on Knight of Malice, and we win combat against Knight of Malice with all of these creatures. And perhaps attempting a Fungal Infection on the Knight... Oh, actually, we can pay for the Syncopate, so he probably won't try to Syncopate us even if... Yeah, Infection is Syncopate proof. That's a good block, a good double block on the Spider, because we cannot... Infection does not solve that problem, but I was willing to accept that double block risk because we do have Whisper. So if Robert wants to 1-for-1 on the Spider here, that's cool. Hang in there, Scotty. Try to give you some vicarious wins here if I can. And hopefully help you figure this tricky format out for next time. Robert is clearly cycling through his various options here. It's a tricky block situation. Yeah, it has one aggro deck, right? It has red-blue aggro that's quite good. It would be nice if red-white were a little better. Yeah, these are totally reasonable blocks. We're going to go for the Night Infection, though. Befuddle. Still, maybe now. Right. Oh, what's going on? Rescue. I'm still just trying to see what's going on with this possible syncopate. Yeah, the red-blue deck really needs the Adelays to shine. It's somewhat linchpinny, I agree. Yeah, we can Whisper and get away with it, so let's do that. Trouble is that we still don't get to resolve Urgoros with Whisper if it gets exiled, but Whisper is syncopate proof, so yes. All right. Well, if he's actually trying to mill us out, then that's us. I've not seen that be a super successful strategy in the format, but I salute the effort. And then, of course, targeting your opponent with the self mill makes total sense. Offering. I know we passed an offering for something. Oh yeah, it was our Tatiova. We took Tatiova. Pick one. All right, we get an Urgoros. We get an Urgoros. For now. Maybe it dies, but I get to resolve it. I resolve an Urgoros. And it is gross. We'll go Spider. Let's see. Spider can be, we can trade off the Spider. And I would do that also with the Omnivore coming. Clear little blockers here. And we're on the aggressive now. If I trade Spider, I get a Knight. What does that mean? You get Knight. I don't know. What Knight are we talking about? Oh, this. Yeah. We. Although at that point, I would take the Homerid Explorer. Like if Robert had double blocked Explorer and Knight on Spider, I would kill the Homerid Explorer because it looks like Robert's trying to mill us out. So if he's trying to bounce and replay this Explorer till we're out of cards, then I want his win condition dead, rather than this duder on the ground. Kicked Witch, but Urgoros lives and no flying blocking. So we're going to start making Gargantuan discard at random. And then we start drawing our own stuff. I'm going to save the land. Again, Tatiova as a draw. We want to have that available. Spider still has a decent attack. And still same thing. Although now, yeah, as long as Homerid must be part of the block and kill of the Spider, I'm willing to send it in. Yeah, but again, I don't want Spider for first striker. I want Spider for the apparent win condition that Robert is going for here. We're close to just attacking all. We got 4 saps. We're pretty wide here. I think at 10 life, unless Robert comes up with multiple additional blockers. Nice. That's one of the bombs, uncommon rare level power cards that I want to try and leave a draft with. And now, now we need the Spider to hold back Urgoros. But as I said, people are underwhelmed by Urgoros because of the Spider. So now I'm super happy with this. And new plan, everybody, new plan. Yeah, that's right. I should have sent the Thallid. I was being very much like just these, but if I had sent the Thallid, it dies, and then we actually represent lethal next turn. So anybody who wanted me to attack with a Thallid, you're totally correct. In fact, it's probably a punt. Like, even D, if you want to punt this, go for it. It turns out he stopped our nice win condition there, but I absolutely should have put lethal on the table. Because now imagine if this was 2 cards away, right? That next turn I untap, and I get him to 1, when I could have gotten him to 0, and then he plays Eviscerate. Oh, that would have been extra rough. All right, Fungal Plots, though, says maybe we can still just get there by going wide. We are out of ways to recur, so I'm going to start getting wide with... with that, but we don't do that till next turn. Trying to figure out, I was thinking about ways I might improve, lower my punt count while helping newer viewers better. Like, maybe I'll try starting it next game, but like, I feel like if I say out loud what a card does when I play it and really focus for a second on what it does, especially the complicated ones, like maybe it will help me register the right things when it's super important. I don't know. I was just thinking about like how do I improve? You know, I've been playing this game for 25 years and I'm continuing to try to get better, but how do I plug these leaks? I can identify leaks I have, but it's really tough to figure out how to plug them sometimes. And I thought that might be a way to approach it, just to try to lock the card's rules text into my brain when I play it. I was thinking about Rada, like, because Rada has like first strike on your turn, pump ability based on lands, and play lands off the top of your deck. You know, so like Rada, screwing up Rada was what was making me think about this. Like when I mess up on Rada. And I'm going to stay wide here, because what we can do is attack wide, and then I'm going to leave the spider back for Urgoros, but I'm going to send everything else, and all saps that are blocked can go towards drawing Fungal Plots card, right? So spider stays back on D. All saps go. Why not send Spider? I guess I'm still worried about Urgoros, but maybe you're right. Why am I holding the Spider back? Urgoros can bring it. Good call, Billy. I should just attack with it too, right? He can't attack. Hammer's right. Billy and Hammer and anybody else who had that thought are correct. So like, yes, fungal plots. I can exile creatures to get tokens. I can sack tokens for free to get life and a card. Don't forget, Ryan, you gain 2 life, not just a card. You get life also. You know, that's the kind of thing. Like, I'll forget that you get life and then make a dumb mistake because of that. So I'm just trying to see if like maybe... I know this isn't a reading stream, but I'm thinking maybe I should start reading. I know it's controversial, but like maybe it would help plug leaks. All right, what do we need to do, if anything? We've got 1 Saproling that's going to be eaten, and I will absolutely draw a card for... Well, actually, I should look at the damage, right? So Robert is willing to take 5 here. If I want a card, I have to only let Robert go to 2 instead of 1. Actually, that's not worth a card. Although what I can... Actually, here's what I do. I make one, right? No sack, but I can just make a new one and sack the Summoning Sick one. Hey, I got there before Trigger did. Where is that? I wish it would let me go right back to that. Now it's looking good for this one too. I'm going to go ahead and play out a land. Mediocre black-green saps, looking for another notch in the belt. I'll take it. It's definitely mediocre. This is not a great deck, folks, but the format, the packs didn't look good, and we're playing in pod, so it's possible it's just weak packs all around. Tough one. But I'm sure we're going to see some stupid bombs. Mm-hmm. Oh, and yeah, I should turn on emotes, because you all are nice. Wasn't there something we were going to do in between games? Did people claim bling that I need to do or anything? I should look. I guess, yeah, I don't know. I know I already secured it, but who doesn't love this meme?
I do my hair toss, check my nails. Baby, how you feeling?
Yeah, that's fair. Can we say I'll turn on emotes if you'll turn off your pets? What about, hey, can we be, what if we're just the trophy? Is the trophy annoying? Let's try the trophy. Next up, Norbert. I don't know. I did not pick anybody. I don't know how I have a trophy. There must have been another way to get the trophy. Because I did not. I use, well, Creamer. Creamer is nasty stuff. Half and half is excellent. Although I have noted that the awfulness of free office swill coffee can be offset by the awfulness of fake milk. Fake milk and flavors plus terrible coffee turns it into something else that that somehow you can choke down. I got to mulligan this. I don't like what I'm seeing. Yeah, I know a former colleague and friend of mine used heavy whipping cream in her coffee every morning. All right, we're going to keep this. And we don't have black yet. I guess we ditch Whisper, although, yeah, we'll shuffle. Like, we have 2 Grow from the Ashes. I would like to draw Whisper before the end of the game at some point, but we shuffle in this deck a lot, so we should get Whisper back in the mix later. We have 2 islands in the deck. There they are. Thanks, deck. And can at least swarm on 3. And I'll trade. They could have... I think I'm just... If they've got -1, make a sap. This is a blowout against us. If I put all 3 on, we trade the full card for the full card. I was hoping to keep a sap back, but I'm not 100% sure whether I'm supposed to risk it or not. Oh, sorry. Did it change? I thought... You know I did, right? You saw me, didn't I? It must not have saved it. I must have left without saving it somehow. I thought I already did that change. I am going to risk it. At least if they've got the -1/-1, we get a sap left over and we've made them use it. I know I could just take it. I like that thing is annoying though. If you're trying to be on defense and they're trying to go aggro, the Trapper is actually a good card in that deck. And here you go. Like this Sentry is real, although not like we have anything to block it with. So what we need now is black mana. None of that in sight. I kind of like bluffing, except we don't have... Yeah, what we need is black. My 7-0 may be coming to an end here if it continues on like this. We don't have our black man. We have nothing to do right now. I mean, we're just blanked. Sure, I'll play my other island and look like I am Simic. There are always mods in here. There's one right above you. Nice. Almost called this card out in the draft. That it's tough to use in this format because it's tough to be mono in this format. But Norbert showing that if you are the only person interested in white, you have some things you can do. 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Yeah, I guess we go to 7. I mean, I don't know what else to do here. Like, this is just one of Magic's non-games. Well, Norbert, when you eventually watch this, I hope you now understand. I'm sure chat will explain in a minute, but yeah, we can't do anything. This is as G as the G's get. Like, if we draw a swamp, it's not enough for anything. If we draw the best greener, like Tachiova, yeah, there's nothing to draw. There's nothing to draw here. So we'll give a good game and move on. And I'm going to go, while I remember, try and figure out why the Lily didn't take. Well, swamps would have helped if we got them on turn, 3. If we got a Thallid and Omnivore, like, yeah, the Sentry was going to be rough in the air, but we had a chance if we had some black. Let's go profile. Oh, here, I also got to give you this. I swear I changed this. Oh, well. Go back and look at the tape and see how I screwed up. Is Norbert back in? GG, Norbert. Yeah, that was both islands and none of my swamps showing up made it impossible. I think you think you probably have us even if we get our mana there. We had 4 black cards in hand that were playable. I mean, that would have been fine, but I don't know if we could even just beat the 4/3 flyer in the air. We needed to find one of our spiders. Tranel, let's go. Big mana symbol lands. Doop. Ooh, let's go. Is it in set HP? Is that? Yeah, look at me using tech. Shut up. I wasn't saying shut up to anybody. It was just kind of an exclamation. I was rude to the air there. All right, let's go Trannel. Back to Trannel. Okay, much better looking. You better bring it, Trannel. I got a hand here. Well, it's the start of a hand. I don't know where it goes. We need a place to go with it. Still need to draw something. Another white deck. Let's see what Trannel's doing with it. Elfame Druid helps kick the grow, which is nice. In fact, we can actually do a kicked grow on turn 3 with a Druid. It's a really nice, an really nice sequence when you can get it. I'm gonna go. I did it again, not leaving myself the fungal infection. We have so many swamps. Also, I'm not going to fungally infect that anyway, so it doesn't really matter. Interesting. Well, this is interesting. So we're going to go Mammoth Spider, hold up infection, and then we should be able to shrink and eat the Juggernaut. But yeah, Spider Addressed says, no, you're not. So we're going to have to offer up a Omnivore for it next turn. Like, think how bad, like, the 5-mana removal spell in white is in M21, for example. This is just a really key card in the format, and as we've seen how valuable the graveyard is in this format, Exile is a huge factor. If you caught my match yesterday, I won in the finals because we Blessed Lighted what is widely regarded as the best card in this format, which is the Multani. So we were able to exile Multani and prevent the recursion. All right, we'll drop the Memorial. That's actually nice to see. We can go hunting for some of our better stuff. Omnivore. You gain some life if you sack saps, but you can still sack other stuff. We can save it. So I like to go... So we'll go Fungal Infection. Well, first let's block and see if they do anything, I guess. Yeah, and there was not even a pause. So I somewhat was looking for a pause there, but with no pause, I think my plays should go off without a hitch. Although they could have syncopate. But if this gets syncopated, it just means that it's a trade instead of us trading a fungal infection for the Juggernaut. We're trying to trade fungal infection for Juggernaut here, which a 1-mana spell for a 4-mana spell would be nice. Shivan Fire. Whoa. Well, now I'm going to eat the Druid to keep the Omnivore alive. Yeah. kind of like, this is a weird inclusion. I don't like, what's that about? It's a weird card to splash, I'll say that. Let's see. Yeah, I'll play this because then we threaten to sack something. And we still have Memorial mana. Nantuko next, Hajj at the end. No problem. Cloud Reader, I remember passing one of those. This is one of my favorite blue... It is my favorite blue common creature in the set. It's so good. If we can find some sapperlings, though, maybe we can recover and turn this corner a little bit. I mean, we're up against it. Or finding a spider would be nice. If the deck would like to deliver a spider, I'm in. Oh yeah, I'll update record. What are we at? I'm at 3-1. Thank you for the reminder. I've been missing that. Ooh, Big Worm. Yeah, I'll take Big Worm. Sure. Maybe that. Ooh, that might be even more important, actually. Kicking this with double active, with 2 mana up for activation is going to be more scary for Trannel than our Worm. And I'm going to take the damage here. With what's on board, having 2 saps left to feed these omnivores next turn should be enough. And I want to cast the Worm next turn, so I also don't have necessarily all of the mana I want next turn for that anyway. And as you say, as the Ganmore points out, we gain life doing this. Could get bounced. They have 1 card left, but spreading it around. Oh, okay. That's good. I didn't play around that. Life gain looks like it's going to be super relevant here. Ah, that's what it's about. Less this, more this. Oh, interesting. Now, I'm going to play this first and then have the unblockable saps and the threat of activation still. And then if Trannel doesn't do anything about the Thallid block except maybe chump with a Scholar, then we get Worm after. And if not, maybe I have to sack something. So also 12, so 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. We can get 9, that's not 12. Let's just do this. And this. Yep, I'm ready. Nantuko next, Hajj last. Sure, everybody's got a clutches. Just clutches, clutches, clutches for everybody but me. Had to play our land out for our turn sequence, but looks like it's cost us the game. Yeah. We got top decked out of this one. Trannel has kept your dreams alive, chat. I was just about to take the week. Make sure he blocks. It feels bad to be top decked a pawn, but it sure feels good to top deck, doesn't it? I bet Tranel was fist pumping there. You would have taken 7-6? I don't know what you mean by that. I would have blocked saplings, so you're 7-6. Maybe you had a line that I missed. Good game, Tranel. Nice card. I wish it had been one card deeper. All right, keep in. Here we go. Does this do anything? Maybe he's onto something, though, Timnos. Did you ever think of that? Maybe he's onto something. Nothing on 2. I suppose we should have known that Non would be in Saps as well. Wasn't he the one yesterday who was also giddy over Sapperling potential along with True? Well, it was True and somebody else. I think there was one other person who was also pretty into the Saps. Well, these are very similar cards, right? They trade, and this one comes with one, and this one comes after with one. I'm going to send and offer the trade now. Oh yeah, we're missing on a lot of stuff. Slimefoot would be incredible. If Non has a Slimefoot, yikes. In this case, I'm going to go... I'm going to add to the board. We'll just drop an Omnivore. It might die, but I'm going to use all my mana. Now I like, well, Grow doesn't kick. I really want to kick that Grow. I guess I'll go Thallid and... Well, I can... Yeah, let's go Thallid for now. Although I could, if I don't kick the Grow, I can get another land untapped and actually play the Plots, which is not the worst. And that would get me my splash color and unlock this hand a little more. Yeah, maybe I'm being greedy. I think, yeah, Deathbloom's a fine attack. It was last time, and he took it. I'm just trying to decide what I'm doing about the after. But let's start with... Well, is Omnivore a fine attack? Well, what is he can't really block the Omnivore. Let's say I attack with the Omnivore. We have the threat of making it a 7/7, 3, 4, 5, 6, which defeats his whole team. So he can't really block the Omnivore either. So we get to attack with both. But that makes me actually want to just follow with the Thallid. So we have a threat of block on our side. We might be able to take a turn off, though. We're at 20. And going to hit Nan down to... All right, with this block, we get a chump, so that's nice. All right, so I'm going to follow through Since Non did not take it, and we do have a chumper if we need it, I'm going to do grow for the island and then play the plots. Just thinking about you, Tatiova. We're going to wait until we find a land and drop the spider this turn. Hopefully we find a land next turn and we just go Tatiova, land, fist pump. That's a very common sequence in this format. Tatiova, land, fist pump. Yargle. The vanilla legendary. Haven't had vanilla legendaries since the original Legends. If we block with Spider, we force the sack of a sap. That's not enough at 17. Yargle. That's not what I wanted. I'm going to impulse here, though, and look for a land or something sweet, drop the Thallid, and continue to be patient with Tatiova and wait to get that for sure first land offer. I want the land for Tatiova, but Mammoth Spider number 2, given that we need to deal with a Yargle, I think we keep. I can also bargain for the land here, which is maybe better than the Thallid in this spot. So I'm going to do that. Take Omnivore and this land. And we're going to hold the land for Tatiova, even though we could play it right now. Deathbloom does deal with Yargle, that's true, but I don't know. I was talking about Yargle. The point is, we don't need to put Spider on Yargle. Although at this point, I'm going to put a chump on Yargle because of the sequencing we did here. But hopefully, we do use Deathbloom on Yargle. But I basically, bottom line, I couldn't pass a quality creature in this matchup like the Spider in our situation. It just that's a good point, because my mentality about it was, oh, I got to main phase it because I'm looking for land, but I forgot that this was a situation where I didn't even want to play the land. But my heuristic for Dark Bargain is main phase it if you're looking for land, right? So I just followed that thought, and we always got to do the math here. We got he's got the math that we are forced to chump because 1, 2, 3, 4 times is 8, 9, 10, 11. It's close, but I'm going to say no blocks because he's got to sack his entire board to go to 1, and to kill us, he's got to sack his entire board and have one other combat trick in hand. That feels like a lot of things that have to be perfect about Nan's hand, or the situation, for us to be dead. So I'm going to risk it and try to get to the point where I can get some life back off Tatiova, throw the Deathbloom in the way of some things, etc. Yeah, right. Don't block it and then regret. Is that what you're talking about, Timnos? I'm not sure which But here we go, we got the grow. So if Tachova can live, we're going to have a sick next turn. Or if we can live and Tachova can live, we'll have a sick next turn. Got one sap chump. And we're going to stay back. If we can untap with Tachova and kick a grow, we should be in good shape. Fist pump redeemed. Now we would be dead, so now we have to decide whether we're forcing some sacrificing or just chumping. And we're just going to chump because if we put, like, Spider in front, we're trading Spider for a sap, and that's not acceptable. Well, we could do that. Moore is saying if we block like this, Nan sacks, and we can follow up with the sack, but he's got more expendable stuff than we do. So I'm just going to chump here. Beard wants the double block. Not yet. I'm willing to go. Let's just give that sap away there and try to untap with Tachova and a kicked grow, and because we can kick the grow and play the Thallid, you know, that kind of thing. Oh, yeah, I totally should have. Sorry, that was an absolute punt. Calling out Hammer that I should have spent the one I had left to sack the sap and gain 2. That 2 could be important. Let's keep an eye on that. But we get a swamp naturally. That's nice. Natural land draw means we get the 1. Oh, my God. Where is it? I wish they would make it easier for me to find the person who just chatted at me. Oh, maybe they did. Okay, there's my opponent. And I am going to play Death Bloom over like this other Thaladon more, or we could play Llanowar Envoy. But I'm happy, like if we want to block, Death Bloom is a great blocker. So let's throw that out there. I want to represent our fungal infection though, even though it represents. I'm trying to represent by tapping so deliberately. I still do it. I don't know what that meant, other than awesome. Trying to give D his fist bumps. Got to keep D happy, right? Yeah, no text. We start to get Nan's just flooding out. I'm sorry, Nantuko. Well, I had my old Simic hand too, so I know how it goes. We play this darn game, and it makes it awfully hard on us sometimes. All right, we got our sneaky sap tech, but no saps. maybe we find some saps. Queen asks how helpful reviewing the LR set review is for Dominaria. I'd say not nearly as useful as going and finding either an episode that they've titled Archetype Breakdown, or even the Sunset Show, or Deep Dive. Sunset Show is a little bit... it has some of the strategy in it, but it's a little wacky. I think if you go for a Deep Dive type named show on Dominaria, or an Archetype show, those are the ones that are going to be them getting super spiky once they really understand the format. And then Sunset Show is lightly spiky about the format and a lot of fun. So it depends on which one you want. Yeah, let's talk about our actual situation here. We now have the Omnivore block it or die situation. You like attack all. I don't know if I want to give up Tatyova, but I could see sending the others and leaving back Tatyova and then casting maybe even. But I also like the patience. Like maybe we just send the Omnivore and play Urgoros. Like, yeah, I don't want to swing away recklessly when I'm so ahead. I want to have Urgoros go the distance, but we can send the Omnivore. We just have to know what's going to happen. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 10 mana. We want 6 for Urgoros. That leaves 4 left over to like double sack this. I'm happy to double sack the Thallid. That makes this a 7/7. He can go 7/7 of his own, but he can go 9/9. Actually, don't like it. I've talked myself out of it. I think he can block Thallid with Thallid and end up with a better sack. Yeah, we've got fungal plots. Do I have stuff to... Oh, yeah, we do have a Thallid in there now, so I'll remember that for... Yeah, that is one more. That's good. Let's see. Is it just ours? Yeah, your graveyard. Just the one now. I still think it's just safer here to go Urgoros and another 3 here. Yeah, we can hold up sap making instead of the 3, but we only have one thing to make a sap with right now. That's not super. I could go Tetsuko, get ready to make a sap. Let's do that. Yeah, the plan A right here, right? Let's go with plan A and then figure out what to do if plan A does not land. D has this one right. Just fly over. All right, so let's throw this here, this here, this here, and could even go. Actually, we could go. Let's just. Yeah, maybe we can give up Tatyova now. That's the play. Like, do this. Yeah, I could have made the sap to chump. But I think I'm cool with this. Only question is whether we want to save Tatyova. She might be that good. Like, maybe we just give up the Omnivore. None of these are chumping. Well, he's mostly tapped. There is the add 2 counters to everything when you kick it. But I'm just going to go with this. Well, the unblockable, if we wanted to chump, yes, but note that all of my blocks produced threatened trade. So I'll chump with Tetsuko like against the big dude or something, but I wanted to threaten trades to make Nantuko have to react to the trades. I got you again, chat. I got you again. Oh, Queen, he was conceding with style. Nantuko was conceding with style there.
I do my hair toss, check my nails. Baby, how you feeling?
All right, Cephas is up next. Now what do I have to play for? The fun of magic, that's what we have to play for. Certainly not playing for hugs. I wish I could. I mean, maybe I could get my family to pay me, but the hug economy is in real trouble right now. Oh yeah? Lousy TV from you, D. Way ahead of you, Nan. That was great TV. Thanks for the fun game. Sorry you got flooded, man. No green. Haven't even seen this weak-ass card. It would have actually helped us here and there, but this is like our only removal, and we've never seen it. And we've gone deep into our decks, too, but I gotta mulligan this. We're gonna keep, easy keep, and actually gonna ditch Spider here as the least important card. That's weird. I don't know how that works. Tron getting gifts for places he's not even hanging out. Maybe another sap mirror? 3 Sapperling decks at the table? That might be why ours was a little weak. Finding the lands we need, and I am going to grow now. Despite the combo of grow plus Tachova, you got to have the island first. Let's go get that. Getting slammed here by a 4/4, though. It's going to hurt. Next turn, we'll drop land number 5, play Omnivore, and then next turn after that, we can go Urgoros or Tachova, depending on what we feel is correct at that time. But taking some hits from this Gorger, no joke. I was kind of saying this card doesn't have the best home in the format, and it's true. Although now, well, we can decide. I guess we probably still don't want to trade, though. We'll go Omnivore, and then we have Fungal Infection. such that we could shrink it to a 3/3 and trade the Omnivore. But I don't think I want to do that. I'd rather go to 12. And then we can have the same type of play, but with more the ability to actually win. Tatyova is so valuable that I want to play her when I can immediately follow with a land. So I treat her like a 6-drop. Because the worst case scenario for Tatyova is you drop her on 5 and she immediately dies. Although the worst case for it all is that you get greedy, decide to be careful with Tatyova, and lose to a Gorger that's running you over, right? So there's two sides to that, but yeah, weird draft where 3 of us ended up in the green-black deck. Yeah, I'm going to take it, especially because Tatyova starts to gain us some life back. But we're also going to have to block saps with Tatyova and stuff if Cephas swings away. And I could also infect one of these. Yeah. I'm going to infect one of their saps just to get one of our own, so that when our turn happens, we have Tatyova, Thallid, a Saproling, and a mana. That's why I'm doing this. It's not the best use of an infection, but I like what it does for us next turn. And now we threaten a 5/5 Omnivore, and hopefully they all stay home. If Cephas attacks here, I'm going to be like, because we did pass +1 or +2 to everything, like 1 +1/+1 counter or 2 +1/+1 counters on all your creatures. That was one thing that I was hoping to wheel for our deck, but of course none of the Sapling stuff wheeled because there were 3 of us interested in it all. Yeah, saw none of these. Kind of suggests maybe we didn't find our lane properly, or I should have pivoted to white earlier. Like, this Cephas looks like has the sicko sap deck here. Well, I certainly forced myself away from white queen, but I think it's correct in the format. You saw me hedging. I mean, I even hedged. We took a white card late. I talked very carefully about taking a decent white card in the middle, but had my justification for doing it. So I really don't think I did. I think we considered, or at the very least, I considered very carefully pivoting to white and decided it was not correct and would stand by that again. Anyway, go to my turn. I like Swamp for sure, of course. Keep the Tatyova train going. But with 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, we can go Urgoros, one sacrifice, or Mammoth Spider and have 2 sacrifices. Mammoth Spider as a 5 toughness blocks Sap Herd. So I'm going to be patient and actually drop the Spider. I want a little more defense against this really intimidating ground force from Cephas. And then we'll try to get there on Urgoros after we are a little more locked on the ground. Because we actually want to attack with this, right? And we don't really have... We want to play something that can defend right now. Because if this defense was good enough last turn, then barring a draw, Spider should just make that defense better and keep it going this turn. Queen says not looking so good, but I would say it's kind of a race, Queen, because we used one, but we have the fight card. So if Urgoros gets the fight card, for example, but the thing, Queen, is it's hard to assess who's ahead in a game sometimes, because right now, Cephas is showing us not the ability to attack through into this, right? So whatever this board state is looking stalled. Like, yeah, okay, so another no attack, right? We're going to drop Urgoros. If nothing changes, we win, because we're going to hit for 4 every turn and strip hand. So currently, we're ahead. But that's just currently. Do I think we're going to stay that way? Not necessarily. There's in black-green, any number of reach creatures or removal spells could totally take our advantage out from under us. But we don't know that that's going to last. Hopefully Tachova gives us enough of a card advantage right now that if they do eventually answer our board, we're still going to be in decent shape. And we're so close. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 8 is not 9, though. We're going to go Urgros, hold up 2 lands. There we go. There's a nice crappy card to play. And I'm not teasing Cephas. I almost played this myself. Like, sometimes you just got to do what you got to do for 2 drops. But I think Cephas would agree that we don't want to be playing oozes in this format if we can help it. But you can't always help it. Nice. Well, maybe eventually nice. Maybe it doesn't actually do anything right now. I take it back. Hopefully future nice. Start with an attack. Now let's see. If we activate Unity, that takes 4. If we cast Thallid, that takes 3 more. That still leaves us with 2, which I like to have for this Omnivore activation. What do we get? Ooh, Fiery Intervention. So we got the splash card before Cephas found the splash mana. That's good. And then I'm actually going to crack this thing. And look for a better play than this Thallid. Whisper. Nothing even in the graveyard yet, so I do not think this is a better play than Thallid. I'm just going to play the Thallid. Here comes the mountain, right? If the magic gods are paying attention to this game, Cephas drew a mountain. Yeah, it does, Queen. Like, the presence of Tachova in the deck is why I was not too concerned about having 2 Grow for the Ashes and the Ramp Dude in a 17 land deck. So even though we were half mana producers, the lands are just so good. Helm of the Host with 2 oozes. Okay, you get me. You got me. That good sideboard tech. Yeah, I mean, like, maybe you didn't see it, but like consider what I took over. Like, I took Tachova over a freaking 5/6 flyer that can be a 4 mana flyer if you're lucky, you know. So it was a strong statement to take Tachova over that Djinn, but I think it was the correct one. All right, so this is where now I'm worried. I've been afraid of this the whole time. Now I think that Cephas has it. So this is what I was saying, like, we were ahead, but Cephas is screaming, all of these creatures are going to get +2/+2. So we now have to figure out if there's even a way to survive this attack. I did not design Helm of the Host. That is not true. Let's see. So 6... 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. Well, actually, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 22, 23, 24, 5, 6, 7, 8, 29, 30. 38 points incoming. If that is in fact true, the question is, I guess, if we block all the big... Let's just do the math if we block the big stuff. Not even worrying about exactly which things first, but if we just block the biggest stuff, what does it even look like after that? So if we did that, we now have 4 4/4s for 16, 17. So it's lethal. So it's lethal if he has it. So we're not going to play around it. Oh, I do have one more blocker. That's huge. Okay, so it's not lethal. Sorry, I just missed it. Now it's not lethal. That's an interesting question, because before there was no reason to play around it because it was lethal. Now it's not lethal. Yeah, we can sack saps for life. And the Thallid as well. So let's get the Omnivore big enough to hopefully eat the... I like the Omnivore on the Gorger, actually. In case Cephas does not have it, though, I'm not going to risk Tachyova against... and of course, we really want this thing dead. Actually, I'm going to leave the spider on that and hope it dies. We can go here and then chump here. And then we're not dead, even with the +2/+2 everywhere. Yeah, let's do this and see if we live. All right, it is what we thought. So we at least played around the right thing, and now we will do the shenanigans we intended. And that is this. I think so, right? Oh no, maybe that's too many? That can't be right. It's got to be... Is it 4-1? If I lost twice? Did I lose? No, I lost twice, right? So it must be 3-2. I'm probably... Am I getting ahead of myself? I can't even track it anymore. Somebody tell me what my record is. I'm 4-1. Okay, so I only lost when I had that Simic hand. I don't know where I added the other loss unnecessarily, but I'll trust you. Good news, everyone! We have Fungal Plots fodder and Whisper fodder. Well, now we probably need to stay back and block. Although we can't, like, I gotta send Urgro. I don't even know if it's, I don't even care if it's lethal. Like, I'm sending Urgros. Like, oh, can we just win? Oh, I'm dumb. Now I'm throwing it away, right? I didn't look at it. Maybe we can still just win. Now I can't. Darn it. Sorry, chat. Sorry, chat. Sorry, chat. Glad I had the week already, but I might have just given it up. As it is, I'm going to follow through with this attack and see if we can't survive anyway. Ooh, that's a pretty good one. Yeah, it's a trade-off. Because here's what I was thinking, honestly, last night, as I was thinking about how to improve these punts that I make like that. My real problem is that I play slow enough already that I feel like if I go super deep and super dot all the I's, cross all the T's all the time, then it's just going to be an agonizing stream. So, like...
Stench.
Well, I hate punting wins. But yeah, I mean, I didn't get ahead of myself as much as streaming is hard. And balancing pace of play and content and everything is hard.
He's a big pig. Yup, yup. You can be a big pig too.
I can't do that on live right now, Dole, but I'm sure chat will jump on and help you with that. Yeah, that's the right record. I know. I don't think I gave myself wins I didn't earn. I don't remember adding a win. You know. Anyway, frustrating. And it's also frustrating that Cephas, are you back? I punted a win there. I should have beat you, but I played too quickly. I had the win on the crackback and just screwed it up. Yeah, we can keep this. This is actually all right. We impulse 1, Druid 2, and hopefully find both our missing colors, but I'm keeping. I say I would have found that razor. I hadn't settled my blocks yet. I didn't need that one. All right, you're gonna take the swamp. Oh, he's saying he his lands are weirdo or something. I don't know. He's being funny. No, I don't worry about limited rank. My limited rank is nothing special because of how I play. I really think I'm 4-2. If somebody can go back and check the tape, I don't think we're 3-3, but I guess it's in my range to make that mistake. So I'm not gonna I'm not gonna decide anything here. So here's where we can do the kicked grow thing again, and we don't have Tachova yet, so that's what I'm gonna do. And we even get our legend. Did I lose to the other clutches? I don't know. I'll just trust you all. I'll try to win this one so there's no question that I've won the week. How about that? Certainly we know my hair is safe. I'll say that. Now, what am I doing? We've got nothing kickable here, right? No kickables, but 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, possibly, yeah, 7, 6 or 7, depending on what we need. We want to bargain. Maybe we want an ancient, but that means we don't need 7. So we're going to memorial, and Tatsuko's not blocking. We'll send in and decide what to do. Yeah, attack with 0-2. It's not a defender. We could totally have done that. All right, let's first see what the heads tails is here. It is just a plain old. We could go. No, they fight. Of course, is the problem. How about Animus making... Well, that means Tetsuko... Do we want a 2-4? We could have a 2-4. Doesn't seem really worth it. None of it seems worth it. I'm actually going to... cast a Dark Bargain here in case there's like a -1/-1 we want to do or something. But this is what I'm going to do, so I'm going to take a look now. All right, big dude and omnivore, pretty easy. And given life totals, I'm going to go ahead and do it. I'm going to use this Animus to... I know it doesn't kill Squee forever, but I'm just trying to set back the tempo here. I don't want to go to 12 and, you know, if Haj needs to spend his whole turn bringing Squee back or whatever, that's fine. It also makes a blocker. I think I'll leave Tetsuko back in the future. But I'm going to try this. It's all right. It could be a little clearer. I think it's close, D. I don't think it's that bad, but you're right. It's vague is a good way to put it. Like, they could be a little clearer about what just happened. Either make both sides of the sides of the coin should look really different. Yeah, I get it. I get that this isn't blockable, but his main job is to make our saps unblockable. So if he wants to sit back and be a 2/4 that's doing a pretty decent job on D, then that's fine by me. Then these swarms become unblockable. And again, I knew this was going to happen, but I'm pretty happy to have Haj have spent his whole turn doing that. You're bringing in heavy hitters, apparently, Mama. New recruits crushing me in their first try. What's up with that? Oh, wait, me punting. That's what's up with that. Right. Also, good new players. Also great. Right on. We'll love to have Queen join us next week. Double strike. That's rough, but we're going to take this. Actually, I could kick the worm and get 10 back, right? But I think we can live one more turn here. If Haj tempos the worm out of the way again, then we'll have to like throw Tetsuko in the way or something, or even the druid. But with 8, maybe we don't have the druid to give up. We can also go swarm just to have a simple chump. You go 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2. Yeah, we could go omnivore, have swarm for and make a chump, and then next turn have druid or the worm. So I'm actually going to do that. I feel like the ability to make 3 chumpers out of nowhere will be good for keeping us alive, unless he can go to our face or whatever. Squee like we passed a Jaya's. I don't think Haj was nearby, but like Squee could be the kind of thing that might make you play the Immolation, just because if you can get to Squee, he's never gone. You always can get him back out for the Immolation. But we're going to stay back on D fully here. And it's now also a place where, unless Haj has something to back up the 2HG, you can't guarantee the double strike, so it becomes a very risky attack. Okay, 3-3. Cool, so this is for the marbles. I like it. I don't know how I gave myself an extra win, sorry. Just bad accounting. And probably a little bit more appropriate for this deck, which is not amazing. My hair's still safe.
I do my hair toss, check my nails. Baby, how you feeling?
Thank you, Nebula. Appreciate that. I know, Cephas, and you had the best one pretty easily, I think. Did you have any omnivores? I can't remember if you showed an omnivore. Seems like maybe that's what was missing. But maybe we just didn't see yours. Yeah, that's rough. Omnivore is so good in the deck, right? But I was really hoping to wheel the thing you ultimately beat us with, the +2 everything. Trade you one omnivore for the no, maybe I wouldn't. Thank you for the sub. JM, love it. Thank you so much, everybody, for your awesomeness. All right, going for it. Let's see what the flip produces. Maybe not. All right, let's see what the flip produces. Now it's Menace, which is okay. And wow. So now we can cast the Swarm, but now it's a double chump. I think we should try and kill. And that means figuring out what we're giving up to the Omnivore, whether it's the Druid or Tetsuko. And actually, it might be Tetsuko, so that we can get the Druid life. But I think we got to try. This is... I'm just trying to figure out which one of these we go for. I guess we do this, because then we don't have to do anything. And we could just accept it. I'm going to just do this and see what the... what Haj shows as a response. I think it's just okay, D. The trouble is that half the time, D, it attacks as a 4/4 for 4. 4/4 for 4 is not even an impressive common in green at this point. So it's half the time it does something, but you have to take gambles like Haj did here. And actually, so we're doing it this way? All right, I'll just accept this trade. Yeah, okay, that's fair. If you like the design, it's the top-down flavor is great if you get it. Like, imagine Holy Grail or like a two-headed giant arguing with itself. As long as both heads agree, they get much better in combat. If they're fighting with each other, they are pretty plain. It's excellent design on that front. But I thought you were talking about its power level and limited. Its power level and limited, and its power level and limited is like medium uncommon. That's been my experience. In this format especially. And now I like, well, let's see. Kicked Grow. I think I'll hold on the Grow in case we find ourselves a Tachova. And I kind of want to get him dead sooner than later. I think if we attack with Omnivore, we get chumped by Squee. Let's figure that out. I'm going to start here. Yep, Squee chump to start things off. Tie that mana up every turn. I did promise some Monster Train. It's been a long week for me on streaming front, but maybe I would do that. I kind of promised. And now, anyway, I'm going to go get some life. I'm going to get our life total up here. Maybe I'm supposed to be more aggressive and just put the worm out, but now I just feel so much more comfortable at 16. Oh, if I said, I can't remember what I said now, but if I said 25% of the time, I meant per ability. But yes, it's, I don't know if someone's clarifying my thoughts or somebody else's thoughts, but yeah, the two-headed giant half the time does something special, half the time does nothing. When attacking. Seriously? Two main Radiant Lightnings against my Sap deck is a little suspicious, but I trust you all. Rocket's calling BS. Get on it, Rocket. You let him know. All right, let's see if this can go the distance. Somehow I think Hodge may have some removal here, but I'm going to go with... I'll keep making him use the mana each turn. Actually, now he can double block and force me to sack the Druid. I don't like that. I'm just going to say no attacks. And with 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, if we kick something, we could kick, grow, and have 4 left over, untapped, adding 2 more, allowing us to also cast the Urgoros. So we're going to tap for kick. Make sure we leave our swamps up. Well, I don't need that, though. And sure, let's see. Doesn't really matter, but we'll go blue and black and blue. That's what we want to make Hajj. You lost count of how old your cat is? That's funny. Surely you can reach back to when you... Ooh, that's an interesting thing, Queen. I read a news article on the rules of thumb around animal age to human age. And because there are things about... Of course, nobody really expects that. And what was I saying? Man, I almost hated this from him. Do you remember that? I almost hated this card. All right, where are we at? Is it choose? Oh, yeah, we're not attacking. Yes, that's the comment, right? I thought I had made a mistake and allowed him to get that card super late. What do you mean, fix them? I didn't know they were broken before. And I don't know who you're talking about being the fixer. What is this about? I guess we are, like, it seems like this is about the 5 mana or kill an artifact. Is that thing a sorcery or an instant? Let me help me out. Fiery... Oh, well. 48 cards begin with fiery in Magic. That's true. The reason I'm asking is because it matters for my attacks. Sorry. I should have explained myself. It doesn't matter here. What it's making me think about is whether or not I get to even attack with Primordial Worm. Yeah, Fiery Intervention. Thank you. That seems like Fiery Intervention, so I'm going to take it. Hopefully we don't die. And if it's Fiery Intervention, we can attack into a Skittering Surveyor and not lose it, which is what I was trying to look up. Oh, is Legend anything? Yeah, that's a little OP. Wow, that's scary. Hajj plays a Raider and loot and rummages nothing. None of these 3 cards is worse than a random off the top. That's scary. 9 mana to kick what? Fight with fire. Yeah, that thing's busto. I'm gonna ship and hope. It's a pretty aggro line, but we do have Mammoth Spider as Raider block, and but I'm kind of expecting the fiery intervention. And, well, we can't beat Fight with Fire, but I'm trying to play around Fiery Intervention, which is a card we can play around with some success. But I'm taking some risks here, but like we could lose right now. Yeah, but that's the thing. You did it, chat. You caught up. The streak is over. Yeah, Queen. Sorry, I'll get to that. It's a cool thing. I just had to actually play Magic for a second. Oh, Rocket. The mail must be here. These are the sounds of mailman. Maybe not angry enough. No. Huh. He's usually, like, the mailman, he goes wild. The mailman is just like, it is really funny. Season rewards. Look I got season rewards, everybody. Three-legged rocket. Nice. And just like that, we are reset. And just like that, we finished our chat gauntlet. Applause for chat. You did it. My mediocre sap deck was not enough to get there, although it would have been if I played better. Well, I suppose as long as I kept my hair, losing against chat's probably the best place to do it because it didn't cost me any other resources. Well done. I want to thank Mama and Nantuko and Skeptical Hat and all of my awesome mods and those helping make the community around my Discord and the community in this chat as awesome as it is. Yeah, we were. That's what I read from as like the only reason I could see you attacking with Squee and not leaving it back to be the thing that just chumps our 7/6 was that you had some way to finish it off, and Fiery Intervention seemed like what it was. But yeah, I don't know if I don't know where I was supposed to do things differently against you there. I could have gotten. Maybe I was supposed to lead with my my 7/6 because you knew about it anyway. Over the Urgoros, right? Like although you would have just used intervention on the Urgoros in that case. So you would have gone immolate the 7/6 and then fiery the Urgoros. So it wouldn't have mattered anyway. Yeah, I think you just had too much removal for me, and my missing removal was like the big problem with that deck. What I wanted from the Saps deck there to make it actually a good one is, of course, Slimefoot. Slimefoot makes your Saps incredible. I wouldn't have minded the Sap Lord that Cephas had. That was missing from my Saps deck. And some Raised Deads. The getting stuff back from the graveyard would have helped too, and some removal. We had no removal. But you can see, like, the deck was okay. But I was literally competing with two other people for the archetype. And if any one of us, if Cephas or me, had not gotten into green-black, both of those other two decks would have been crazy good, right? So we all had decent ones, and I think if we could have combined forces and and made two decks instead of three, that would have been really good. So unfortunately, my streak is over, and the streak of chat has begun. Good job, chat. I look to end your streak next week, okay? Thanks for hanging out, for watching that one. YouTube friends, we'll catch you the next draft. Bye-bye.